Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special episode of the Conversations with Coaches podcast. This is another part two, but this one is unique for me. This is a part two with someone I hadn't met yet. Previously, and this is over a year ago now, there was a host of this podcast, Micheal Pacheco, who's gone on to host a different but very similar podcast called The Remarkable Coach, which we can talk about some other time. But we're here today with Bernadette Boas. Boas?
Yep.
2 syllables? Okay. Bernadette Boas. And she's been on the podcast before, and she spoke with Micheal. And in the intervening year and a half, almost year and a half since she's been on, there's been a lot of developments, a lot of great changes. And I am the lucky one who gets to talk to her about all of that today. Let me give you a little bit of an idea of who Bernadette is, and then she'll give you the rest because she is fantastic, let me tell you. And I don't want to spoil anything, but this is going to be a great conversation. Known as a ball of fire, Bernadette is a renowned business and success coach, speaker, author, and CEO of Ball of Fire Coaching. She uses her decades of corporate savviness combined with her entrepreneurial spirit to help corporate professionals create riches in their careers and their lives. Bernadette, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for meeting me. I'm really, really excited to talk to you for the pod.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And it's great to meet you as well. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's dive right back in. We got a little warm up before I hit record, and we really started talking about all the different pivots. Let's start with the pivot in your business and in your coaching. What has changed / evolved? Maybe evolved is a better word in the last 12 to 18 months for you.
Well, it's interesting. It's how life works, right? You know, the universe turns and pivots. And so my whole kind of approach to my business and the work that I'm doing also did that. When I left corporate and went out on my own, I focused on the entrepreneurs. Even with writing a book that was geared to corporate, I just didn't want to go back there. And so I said, no, I want to, take a new path, pivot, take a new path, and hit up the entrepreneurial world. And I loved doing that for a good many years. It's been since 2008. But I would say it really started in 2018, but about a year and a half ago, I just found my whole world kind of making a full circle in that the next thing you know, through referrals, not even through my reaching out to anyone, I started really getting a lot of corporate work, corporate executive leadership work, training, and overall, coaching. And so I found myself kind of shoulder deep in all of that over the last couple of years and absolutely loving it because it was really addressing kind of the person in the workplace, as opposed to, we all think that we're robots in the workplace, but the person in the workplace and just the struggles that they have, but yet the huge potential and opportunity that they have, and helping and guiding them through that. So it's been a lot of fun. And I also leverage, multiple assessments and multiple practices out there, like the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So it's just been a blast, and I just have absolutely loved it. So I'm, kind of finding myself close to 100% corporate as opposed to the entrepreneurial work.
That's fantastic. I love the way so much can come full circle like that. I feel like that's a story of so many coaches. Not that once the circle closes, that's the end, because I feel like we're just making these beautiful circles all throughout our lives.
Right.
But that's such a common story amongst all the great coaches I get to talk to, is that there are these moments where you come full circle. There's a reason that's a phrase, and you realize that everything that had happened before was leading you up to this point. Yes. And there's just this beautiful moment. It's honestly like a sunrise. I love it.
Right. Yeah. There was a reason why I didn't want to go that direction to begin with. When I left corporate, you would think a 25-year corporate executive would then go back to where they're comfortable. But, I left corporate for a reason that you could listen to my last interview, but a reason that, wasn't pretty when it comes to leadership and being a really powerhouse leader, as I advocate today. So, so I needed to kind of move away from it and then find my way back. And so I'm back.
Look out, everybody. And honestly, I think bringing this around, people are looking out in the corporate realm now, because I feel like we're still deep in the midst. We're still all shoulder deep in the midst of a serious pivot and change in the way that we look at and value leadership, in particular in the corporate space.
Right.
And I believe you've identified a number of different, I believe you call them myths that really, and I think I use the word expired to describe them. These concepts that, to put it at most politely, have really expired in their usefulness in regards to how we view leadership, especially in the corporate realm. So talk a little bit about some of those myths that we're embracing and expelling.
Yeah, which and I call it shedding in my world, but
Nice.
and it's also coming from my own experience of the type of leader I was, which was not the type of leader you want to be. And now even the world is making a full circle with that as well. And I call them the 3 must-have myths, because they're things that you've been told, for decades that, that you need to do or need to have. And yet at the same time, it's such bad advice. So the 3 myths are that life and work actually is 80% skill set. So how many of us have said, oh, I just have to work on my skills. I just have to master my skills. I have to fill up my resume. And it's BS. It's not. It's actually 80% mindset, what you're thinking about, feeling, and your beliefs, your emotions, and how you're projecting those into whatever it is that you're doing at work or at home. But it's 80% mindset. And then you know what? If you happen to have the skills I need, awesome, because someone will advance you, hire you, do business with you, just because they like who you are and they're willing to invest in you getting the skills that you need.
Exactly.
So that, that's just something that, anyone needs to really pay attention to is, put investment into working on your mindset each and every day, whether that's with someone professionally or not. And then the second one is that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Now, this I kind of took on as a flag of how I was going to go about my leadership style, which was very loud, as you can tell. Very loud, very abrasive, very curt, very demeaning, very much dictating, delegating, commanding, or actually not even delegating, dumping and commanding and controlling. And it's just not the way you're going to get people to follow you, because leaders lead from the back, kind of guiding their people forward. They don't lead from the front going, you're going to follow me. You're going to follow me. No, they influence people through support and development and coaching to then walk through a fire for you, because you're there to support and develop and grow and enrich them. So the squeaky wheel idea is something that if you want to be a squeaky wheel, do it through service, do it through compassion, empathy, do it through kindness, authenticity, and transparency. And then the last one is, which was beaten into me from a very early age. I'm one of 12 children. So, so I was raised to believe that you have to work hard, to deserve anything, and and you have to get those results no matter how hard and long you have to work. And that's just BS. And actually, it was my sister just maybe 10 years ago that kind of called BS on that as well, in a conversation that we were having. And, you hear the term work smarter, and it just sounds so like almost placating. But it's true. But it's really true. You don't have to kill yourself and work yourself to the bones to be successful, to get ahead, to really enjoy your life. What it takes is you doing the work that really turns you on, really, gets you going and gets you excited. And, and it's almost like the saying that's also used often is, when you get up and you absolutely love what you're doing each and every day, it's not a job.
Yeah.
I mean, I love what I do. And so I jump out of bed and I'm excited, except when I'm going on vacation like I am tomorrow. but I'm excited, about working with my clients and doing the work, that we do. And so I no longer, and haven't for years, kind of, felt like I had to work to the bone. I work hard, don't get me wrong, but I work smart. I work smart.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really like. What I was able to learn about that whole work smarter, not harder thing, that it's not something that's encouraging you to not work hard. It's work smart so that when the time is right, when it's called for, when it will make the most difference, that you're ready to work hard. That's what I love. And it really does, like, I mean, they say that, what's that saying? Like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I think it's how I often hear it. It's like, and that's true, but it's still work. It's just that I love it so much.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding and so uplifting to my own self and the people around me that I'm just buoyed out of bed in the morning, except when there's a vacation pending, in which case I'm just looking for that hammock and maybe like a Mai Tai on the beach or something like that. So who knows what I'm looking for on that vacation. But it really is that simple. There's some work to be done. There's some serious mindset changes to happen. And that mindset won't go quietly. No. If you've been holding on to it for a while, it will fight to stay around.
Absolutely will. So don't expect changes to come overnight. Just be patient and work on yourself, each and every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I feel like I could talk to you about this all day, but now you dangled that little vacation carrot, and I was like, oh, you got so much to do before you could just lay it down for a little while and have yourself a good time. So before we go, do you have anything else you want to add? I feel like you've just laid the perfect amount of stuff on the audience. Is there anything a message you want to leave anybody with before we go?
I would just say, you have this one life to live. It goes really, 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 really fast. So, don't spend a minute, an hour, a day, let alone a month or a year, kind of draining yourself and dragging yourself through. Find what it is that really turns you on and go for it.
I love it. Oh, also, before we go, I think you mentioned that you have a new website coming soon. So I want to make sure that you let everybody know where you like to be found and then where you like to connect. Like if there's a social media that you like to make connections on. So just let everybody know where they can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, balloffirecoaching.com will be updated. You'll see it very soon. And at the same time, LinkedIn is where majority of people find me. So you can link in with me and then shoot me a DM and say hi, and let's actually build a relationship. Yeah.
I love it. All right. I'm going to let you go a little bit. I don't want to, but this has been fantastic, and short and sweet is the mission of the podcast. So I was almost called you Bernie. Bernadette. I don't know if you Bernadette. I just feel it's a testament to my comfort with you. Thank you so much, Bernadette, for being here today. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you for having me.